Right, yeah. There's T-shirts, and if anybody has job security issues, it's the guy who came up with the T-shirts. My goodness, yeah. So, but yeah, I don't think so. I think the Indians, for as tumultuous as they have been at times on the field, that front office has remained more or less intact for basically 20 years. I mean, it has evolved from John Hart to Shapiro to Antonetti. I mean, it has been sort of a family affair. So I don't know that this year has been that cataclysmic that there would be that type of expectation that things are going to change. So I don't, and particularly after just landing Francona and making the playoffs last year, I don't think so. I think we're still a ways away from that. And as we've seen, the Dolans are not impulsive people. So I don't think we're going to see heads roll over this. So.
And I agree with you, too. Whether I like the job that the front office does or not, sometimes I'm going to keep that out of it. The simple fact to me is I think if that move was to happen, then you're also probably parting ways with Terry Francona. So
absolutely, yeah. You got to consider that, yeah.
Exactly, because he's got it in his contract that if they leave, he's allowed to leave, and there's a reason that's there.
Right.
You know?
So forget that. I mean, if nothing else, you keep the front office, even if you're unhappy with them.
You have to.
Terry Francona. If that's the price of keeping Terry Francona, I'm willing to pay it.
That's it. I mean, so because that was another big argument I had was they got to go, and I'm like, that's great. And if you want them to go, and you got somebody better, hey, if it's Billy Beane, that's great. But you're going to have to replace the manager as well. So keep that in mind when you want to move the front office out. JK, great conversation, man. I'm glad we had some time to really catch up today and talk, man. Thank you.
Yeah, we did. It's been a while. It's always nice.
It's training camp now, so I'm sure we'll have a ton of by next week, we'll know what the fallout is on Josh Gordon for sure, as his hearing is wrapping up today, and we'll know about that, and we'll be, we'll see where the Indians are. I mean, maybe they just win 3 and lose 3, and they're right where they're at when we talk next week.
Wouldn't surprise me, but yes, I'm sure there'll be something else. And we didn't even talk about Kevin Love rumors, so there's always that gem to fall back on. So there's any number of speculatory topics we can hit on next week.
My man, you have a great first week of August, first weekend here into the dog days, and next Friday I look forward to talking to you again.
Yes, indeed. Stay away from that secondhand smoke, man. We know what it can do. You got it,
man. I'm telling you, man. I got it. I'm with you. Thank you. Jonathan Knight, my man, the Sportswriter extraordinaire. Have a good one, brother.
You bet, buddy.
All right. That's my man. You guys, of course, check him out on Twitter at JKnightWriter with a W, as in writing, because he's a writer. JKnightWriter on Twitter. We're going to take a break. Get you the news. Wow. That was a great conversation. When we come back, I missed my buddy for the last couple of weeks. When we come back, Jeff Gorman. He's my buddy, too. Hey, I'm not playing favorites. Jeff Gorman from Browns101.com calling in. Joining us next, we're going to talk some Browns here as they are in the final day of training camp for this week. You got Family Day tomorrow, all of that. Talking Browns with Jeff Gorman. We've still got plenty more to come on the Sports Fix, Hour 2. It's already underway, so I guess instead of starting, it continues next. Don't go anywhere. Right after the news.
Can't stop this feeling. Can't stop this fight. Oh, can't steal.
The Sports Fix, your choice for intelligent talk.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Intelligent talk.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
These guys must be on the wrong station.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
The Sports Fix.
As we head into this break, I just want to remind you the Sports Fix proud to be partners with Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck, 5715 Canal Road, just under the 480 bridge in Valley View, Ohio. Bill Hershey and Bill Opalich, I tell you about them each and every day. They'll take care of you. Number one, huge Cleveland sports fans, but they're good people, hardworking people, trustworthy people. I don't just come on here, I tell you this all the time, I don't just come on here and talk about places and people that want to buy advertising on the show. I talk about people and products that I believe in, and Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck is one of those places. Whether you've got a truck, car, van, commercial vehicle, big or small, it doesn't matter. They'll fix them all. They're the home of the low price tire guarantee. Find a matching set of tires cheaper anywhere else, and they'll match the price guaranteed, no questions asked, no matter what it is. Hey, and they understand in 2013 that there's transportation issues. People need to get to school, to work, to daycare. All those things need to get done, and the car needs to get fixed, and they'll figure out a way to make that happen for you. Check them out, quicklane.com/Valley Ford Truck, and find out that life really is better in the Quick Lane.
It's an addiction. The Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
I'm Tyler Zeller, and you're listening to The Sports Fix.
Have you gotten your copy of Cleveland's Finest yet? Highlighting the best moments, players, and media members in Cleveland sports history?
He won it! Milo! Hit a three-pointer on the side!
In-depth, personal interviews with some of the top names in Cleveland sports fill the pages of this incredible book. Cleveland's Finest by Vince McKee is this year's must-have book for every Cleveland sports fan. Available now at Amazon.com. Get your copy today. Sports Fix listeners, do you tweet? So do we. So tweet with us 24/7 at the Sports Fix CLE.
Business owners and professionals, do you want to take your business, your product, your team, your event to the next level? You want to advertise right here with the Sports Fix. Our listeners are among the most loyal listeners, terrestrial or internet. The Sports Fix universe is not only the radio show, but tens of thousands of fans on Facebook and Twitter. Email me, Jerry Myers, thesportsfix at AOL.com. That's thesportsfix at AOL.com. And let me help you swing for the fences and hit it out of the park right here on the Sports Fix.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Harry Buffalo. Harry Buffalo, join the herd.
News break.
Good morning, I'm Bob Picozzi. Fine. Running back Marshawn Lynch's 8-day holdout at training camp is not going to cost him any money. A source tells ESPN the nearly $500,000 in fines, which Lynch rang up for not being around for those 8 days, will not be collected, and Seattle has agreed to bump Lynch's base salary from $5 million to $6 million. Anthony Ronaldo and Alan Webster, they will pitch for the Red Sox in the first 2 games of a weekend series with the Yankees, the byproduct of yesterday's deadline trades of John Lester and John Lackey. But ESPN analyst Manny Acta likes Boston's move.
They're getting ready for next year. They got Cespedes, and now they traded for Craig. They're sending a message here that they're going to compete again next year. They feel like they can get Lester back and probably go in the free agent market and attract a pitcher or two.
Phillies pitcher Cliff Lee, whose name was mentioned in trade rumors for weeks, was not traded and doesn't figure to be traded anytime soon. He left last night's game against Washington with a strained elbow, the same injury which sidelined him for 9 weeks this season. Second round of the Bridgestone Invitational in Akron, Mark Leishman is 6 under par through 3 holes. He has a 1-stroke lead. Tiger Woods tees off at 10:30 Eastern.
It's summer barbecue season at Subway, and nothing goes better with the sweet and smoky Applewood pulled pork than a fresh brewed Fuse iced tea. Brewed fresh in store every day and infused with antioxidants. Try a Fuse with your Applewood pulled pork today. Subway, eat fresh.
You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix, Hour 2 across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you. I chuckle a little bit. I like Manny Acta, by the way, but, he had to go when it was time for him to go here in Cleveland. But, some managers ask for help. They say, hey, we need a trade. They get David Price. Others, they get fired. So there it is. Manny Acta, he's got some special feelings about trade deadline. I'll never forget that. I was in the dugout. I will never forget him being asked, what does this team need? And, Terry Francona would go, hey, man, we don't need anything. We've got the guys right here. But, maybe, any help would be great, but we don't need anything. Manny Acta had a list. He goes, hold on a second, reaches in his back pocket. I'm exaggerating, but he had like Santa's list. He whipped this reel out. It rolled all the way to first base. He goes, let's start with getting me a first baseman. Then get me 2 outfielders. Get me 3 pitchers. I need a partridge and a pear tree. He had the whole thing laid out. And they got him nothing. He liked it. They went, 5-28 or whatever the rest of the way. And Manny Acta was a footnote in Cleveland sports history. But I just remember that. Like, I remember that day. he wrote his own way out. And he didn't care because he knew he was gone anyway. But he was being honest. Like, do you need anything? Oh, yeah, we do. I already told the front office. I need somebody at every position and 3 more pitchers. If you get us that, then no, I'm exaggerating. But he had his list, and he put it right out there in the media. And they said, oh, well, we're getting you nothing, and you're going to like it. I think they added, like, Brent Lillibridge or something like that. And that was That was all the help that he got that year. But then again, they blessed him with Johnny Damon out of spring training, too. Let's remember that experiment. So, anyways, Maniac, I heard him during the break, and I'm like, yeah, I bet you wish it went the opposite way. But it is what it is. Welcome back to the show. J-Rock with you. I see the phones ringing. I can't take them. Sorry, guys. Can't take your calls just yet. I've got Jeff Gorman on the line. We're going to talk some Browns from Browns101.com. My man, Jeff. So you want to talk? Hit us up on Facebook. Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFix, CLE, all one word. Email us, TheSportsFix@AOL.com. I'm going to the phones. The Browns wrapping up the day's practice today as they head into the weekend and Family Day, the first scrimmage. They're going to do some live tackling to the ground, stuff like that. It's getting a little bit real. It's still not really real yet, but let's talk some Browns football. Jeff Gorman. Jeff, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing super, J-Rock. It's the excitement's building down here, sort of in the Akron, Canton area. Now we got the not only the golf tournament, but tomorrow is going to be Family Day, and then of course Sunday is going to be the first preseason game between the Bills and the Giants down in Canton. So it's all kind of like you said. We're kind of getting closer to something resembling real football. It's wonderful.
I have to do this before we even get to talking about the Browns because you do it to me every time, and the same image pops in my head. Have you ever seen South Park, the movie?
Yeah, I saw it with our good friend Beef Stew Lou Marconi, and man, it was scandalous.
Matter of fact, let me tell you real quick a Beef Stew story. He hit me up this week. You know, he's the NWA national champion, and he hit me up this week. I put him in touch with the Browns. He's like, hey, man, I'd love to get a photo op with some of the Browns players with the belt while I'm coming up to town. So I think I hooked it up for him. So he may be able to get him some publicity photos of him and some of the Browns posing with the belt. But anyways, every time you come on the show and I ask you how you're doing, almost to a man, every time you say, I'm super. And the way you say it, with the enthusiasm in your voice, I expect the curtain to open and for you to start singing. Remember the USO thing on South Park where he sang the I'm super, thanks for asking song?
Yes.
That's what I think of every time you say that. I go, man, I just want to start singing. I'm super. Thanks for asking. Anyways, but so every time I say, hey, Jeff, how you doing? You do it the same. You go, I'm super. Thanks for asking. And I'm like, man, if you only knew how much that made me chuckle. So I figured I would share it with you because for about 6 months now, that's been inside. And I've just been waiting to say, do you know what you sound like when you say that? But anyway, so there you go. And there's nothing meant bad. I just get a kick. Every time you say that, I that pops in my head, and I hear that song for the next 30 minutes.
Well, next time you ask, we have to punch that song out for you so you can hear the real thing.
That's it, man. I may have to find that and make that your music bed when you come on this show, man. But
there we go.
You're down there, man. Is there some palpable buzz around the town that the Browns? I mean, they're just bringing a scrimmage there, but the tickets went out pretty quickly. So, how's the town of Akron? Are they fired up here to host the Family Day scrimmage?
Oh yeah, they're very fired up. In fact, the Beacon Journal just ran an article a couple of days ago speculating that maybe the Browns might move training camp to Akron, permanently. Because they've been talking about possibly going somewhere else other than Berea, and they did a big old spread. They showed a picture of Infosys Stadium and the big building next to it, and hey, maybe the Browns might not just come here on Saturday, but might train here every year. So I think that's kind of speculation, but in Akron, they really took that to a fever pitch and just ran all the way with it. So I'd say there's a lot of excitement about it.
And you know what? Like I said, kind of can be seen too. I'm curious. I wonder if there's a breakdown. They'll probably send it to me afterwards like they do for camp. I wonder what percentage. Since they had to get the tickets in advance, I'm curious the breakdown of how many people, like where they came from. How much of that was Akron? How much of that is Cleveland? It's not like there's more than, it's a 45-minute drive. So I wonder the percentage there. I know getting the training camp numbers, I've noticed, I think we're almost 40 states. I think we're at 39 states right now that people have traveled to training. It really shows, I'm proud of Cleveland. And I talk about the Clevelanders have moved all over the place because people get tired of the snow and they go to other places and then they come visit the snow at Christmas time. But anyway, so I always get a kick out of that because it shows just the enthusiasm. 37 states is the number so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if it hits all of them before this thing is done. And this week, wrapping up the first week, things getting a little snippy here this week as the players, because they went from end of last week into the weekend. You started things off with shorts, and then they added pads, and now they're hitting and not exactly tackling to the ground, but they're popping, and we've seen the aggression go up a bit. Plus, from what I've seen personally when I was down there, guys like Dante Whitner, and this is what I